All right, I had someone reach out to me and ask if I could spend more time talking about how you might mix your at-home Screamo hardcore punk tape. And I'm not really an expert on this subject, but I thought I could spend a little bit of time showing you how I might go about doing it myself using these old tracks that I had from an album that never got quite finished. So I decided that I'd bounce the stems that I had over to my new computer and see what I could do. And I realized pretty quickly that I was probably going to have to relearn the guitar part and then re-record it because the scratch guitar part that I had was pretty garbage. So I spent some time doing that. And then once I finished doing that, I decided that I might as well also reamp that DI signal that I recorded. So I sent it back through this little amplifier. And I set up two microphones to record it. I had one close up on the cone, and then I set up the other one a little bit further away. So here's what that final setup looked like. It was pretty basic, recording into GarageBand again. All right, we're here on a rainy evening. It's pretty late. I'm going to try and quickly go through how I might go about EQing and mixing guitars, bass, and drums on this here quick record that I slapped together. Let's have at it. So here is my GarageBand track. I've muted one side of the drums just because for some reason it sounds pretty weird when I'm recording it. I'll play it back so you can listen to what we're working with right now. So, yeah, as you can see, it's pretty bass heavy right now. I think we can probably cut a lot of that. Let's start with the drums. I got my drums down here. I know for a fact that we got pretty much everything below 50 is going to be unusable. I used a 2 mic setup here. Actually, I think it was a 3 mic setup, but I only had 2 sends, so it was mixed at a board. So we're limited here in our abilities. But I'm going to go ahead and try and cut this low end on both sides down all the way to 50, try and get rid of as much of that low end as possible. We're not really gonna be able to hear that anyway. And then similarly, I'm gonna get rid of a lot of this high end too. Oops. Probably up to like 15-ish. I gotta mute one of my tracks here. I think we can probably bring some of this low end down. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my orange guy if I can find them, my orange point. And yeah, I'm just doing this GarageBand, as you can see. We're not getting any way fancy with this, so I only have so many points of articulation. So one other thing I want to do is bring up the snare a little bit, which is probably somewhere around the 200 range. I'm going to go ahead and spike that on both sides as well. And I think we have maybe quite a lot of cymbal actually going on here, so we can maybe back some of the cymbal off in the high ends. And I'm still pulling the low end out. We got a lot of low end here. Let's see if we can sort of shore this up a little bit. Oops, come on. There we go. All right, so this is pretty aggressive here, but I've cut a lot of my low end. All right, so and if you take a look at our guitar, our DI signal, we get a kind of a good picture of what maybe your average guitar EQ. So we'll go into our mic signals, and I put some low end down here, or some high end down here. So you want to go into your EQ for those and kind of recreate a similar appearance. Again, you can cut a lot of this low end stuff here, this sub 50 hertz stuff. All right, so I also just turned down the low end here too, so we're getting pretty good here. So once you've done, your 50 hertz range stuff, you can probably also make some of these other subtle adjustments. Like, we've got some slight boosting in the highs here. We can probably mimic that. You have this option to do this thing called sidechaining, which is basically where you duck the volume of the bass when the drums hit or vice versa, and this can help things be heard a little bit more clearly. You can do this manually in GarageBand, and you can also do it automatically in some other programs or using some other plugins. So one other thing that you can do is go in and mess around with the peaks. You can see I started already here and take out some zones that are whistly. So you can mess with the size of them by shrinking them down with this control here. And then if you play this back, you can see I found some areas. Where you get a little bit of a ping in the mix, you can try and drop that out a little bit by bringing that peak down. Here's another one here. So in terms of mixing, you probably want the drums to be the loudest, and maybe, you want the bass to be kind of mixed down into the low end a little bit, the bass guitar, that is. And, the guitar should be probably in the middle, right around where the vocals are in terms of volume. Just play around with it. You should always listen to something on multiple devices, multiple sound sources before you decide that you like it or not. Headphones, speakers, car speakers, stereos. So yeah, I hope you found this somewhat helpful. I know this is kind of like a quick and dirty video, but it actually took like a pretty long time to make in the grand scheme of things. Let me know if you have any questions, I suppose.